Something enormous is hunting, where no city ever rose. Night falls over a grassland that could be Africa, could be Montana. A vibration rolls through the dirt before any sound reaches the air. Then a herd breaks into a sprint, straight toward one of the shadows. What kind of predator makes its prey run toward danger? And why isn't there a single human sound anywhere on Earth? This isn't the Cretaceous. It's now, on an Earth where Tyrannosaurus rex never went extinct. One shape steps into the moonlight. It looks like a tyrannosaur, but the proportions are off. Lighter chest, longer lower legs, narrower tail, a skull still built like a wrecking ball. It doesn't charge, it just watches and waits. The grass beside you suddenly bends the wrong way. Something else is closer than you thought. If the one you can see isn't attacking, what's it waiting for? Footsteps land behind the herd. The prey spins right into the space the hunters wanted. Freeze there, because to understand three tyrannosaurs hunting like this, you have to go back to the day their whole future was supposed to end. The grass turns into Cretaceous fern. The moonlight becomes a white scar tearing across a daytime sky. Chicxulub, the asteroid that erased the dinosaurs in our timeline, misses. No fireball, no blackout, no collapsing food chain. Did that rock just save the dinosaurs, or only delay something worse? The sky lets Tyrannosaurus live. The planet starts testing whether it deserves to. The forest goes quiet, insects stop clicking. Small animals disappear like someone hit mute. Nothing big is in view. Somewhere between the trees, a rotten smell drifts past. The wind shifts. Suddenly the sweat on your skin, the mud on your boots, the blood from a forgotten scratch, all of it travels straight into the trees. How exactly do you hide from something that might smell you before it ever sees you? Something moves between two trunks. Your eyes catch pieces of it, not the whole shape. Tyrannosaur eyes likely faced forward, with enough overlap to judge distance the way a real predator does. It doesn't need to see you clearly. It only needs the distance to be wrong once. You back toward a fallen log and hear breathing coming from the side, not from ahead. No metaphor makes the bite safer. Teeth sink deep, bone gives way, and the skeleton becomes food instead of waste. The largest adults may have bitten down with something like 8,000 pounds of force, and fossil bite marks back that up. What's the point of surviving the first bite when the second one can snap the leg carrying you away? Playing dead would just save it a chase. Trackways suggest some tyrannosaurs travel together. Coordinated hunting like wolves isn't proven. But buried inside that uncertainty was a weapon evolution hadn't finished building. Ash dims the horizon. The plants that used to blanket everything now grow in patches. Prey routes shift overnight. A dead carcass suddenly matters more than a clean kill. Fine ash coats your tongue while, nearby, a tyrannosaur rips into a skeleton some smaller scavenger already gave up on. None of this is certain, but a few traits probably kept the lineage alive, a diet that could handle almost anything, the range to travel when food ran out, jaws that could crack bone nobody else could touch, and a body big enough to store energy through lean years. What does survival teach an animal when the winner never has to change? The crisis rewards traits the lineage already has. Natural selection just keeps copying the same design. The danger isn't arrogance. Tyrannosaurs can't be arrogant. The danger is a winning trait, keeps reproducing right up until the environment quietly changes its price. The wind that gave you away now carries ash instead of scent. Everything keeping this giant alive is about to get expensive. About 56 million years ago, Earth heats up between 4 and 6 degrees Celsius in a stretch scientists call the Paleocene-Eocene thermal maximum. In this timeline, it doesn't wipe Tyrannosaurus out. It just makes survival selective. The air turns heavy. Shade barely helps. Even the water smells stagnant. Every breath feels used up before it reaches your lungs. A massive tyrannosaur stands with its mouth open under a tree, not hunting, just trying to lose heat it can't get rid of. What happens to a body built to hoard energy when it can't release its own heat? Does being the biggest animal alive still mean being the strongest, or does it just mean being first to fail? Smaller descendants need fewer calories and shed heat faster. The dominant body doesn't disappear overnight. It gets edited downward, one generation at a time. Centuries pass. The forests keep shrinking. Then the last hiding place disappears. No trunks, no cover. A grazing herd can see for miles, and the old strategy, get close, explode from hiding, end it in one bite, is basically useless out here. You're crouched in grass up to your shoulders when a lean tyrannosaur steps into view on the horizon and lets itself be seen. Why would a hunter ever give up the one advantage it used to depend on? The herd bolts the other way. The visible predator follows, but it isn't sprinting. A second animal moves alongside them, blocking any turn toward rough ground. Footsteps hit the dirt behind you. The third shadow from the beginning of this story has been waiting in the one direction the herd thought was safe. Why is the herd being pushed straight toward the hunter, who hasn't even moved yet? One predator applies pressure, one blocks, one waits to strike the animal that gets separated. Then the lead hunter slows down, and another takes over the chase. Why would the lead hunter ease off right when the prey is finally running out of gas? It's not losing ground, it's handing off the chase. The herd thunders past inches away. Grass whips your face, mud hits your mouth. A skull the size of a car door flashes through the dust. What if the jaws were never the scariest part of this animal? What if the real weapon is knowing exactly where every other hunter is standing? A low call rolls through your ribs, the same sound from the very beginning. The final bite still looks horrifying, but by the time it lands, coordination already won the fight. Smaller doesn't mean easier. That hunt shouldn't lose the tension it just built. So here's what actually made it possible. Trace footprints crossing millions of years like a stop-motion reel. Shallower prints, longer strides, several trails running side by side. Fewer signs of one giant hunting alone. Think of it as a shortcut through deep time, not a real fossil sequence. Following that trail feels like watching the original T-Rex disappear one piece at a time. Endurance starts beating explosive speed. Tolerating other tyrannosaurs nearby opens the door to cooperation. Better communication makes every hunt more efficient. Smaller bodies cost less in food and heat. Young animals that learn pack behavior survive more often. How much of Tyrannosaurus can evolution strip away before what's left counts as something new? No fossil can show us this future. Pack coordination, communication, exact body shapes, all of it stays one plausible path, never a guarantee. Here's the part that actually matters. The original species doesn't survive unchanged. It survives by walking away from the exact body everyone expects to see. And once one branch figures out how to change, geography starts building monsters in every direction at once. First, open country coordinators. Medium-sized, long-legged, hunting in family units built for endurance, not ambush. They likely use deep calls to stay in contact. Infrasound is plausible, not confirmed. Second, forest holdovers. The trees go silent again, same as before. Bigger, built for a short, brutal charge instead of a long chase, heavy-skulled ambush predators, the closest living thing to the classic Cretaceous T-Rex. Third, cold country hunters. Your breath fogs the air as a pale shape trails migrating herbivores across snow. Seasonal insulation is reasonable speculation this far north. It moves slowly, saving energy. Because meals here can be days apart. What does a tyrannosaur turn into after thousands of winters punish anything left exposed? And fourth, island dwarfs. a bush shakes and outsteps something the size of a large wolf, head still disproportionately dangerous. Limited food on an island tends to shrink big predators over generations, but no exact size here is guaranteed. Still not a pet, not even once. The camera drops below these giants and finds something small watching from the underbrush. It's been waiting millions of years for an opening that never quite stays open. Mammals here don't stay frozen as tiny nighttime insect hunters. They branch into climbers, burrowers, gliders, swimmers, small and mid-sized predators, a real spread of forms. The catch, most big terrestrial roles are already taken. You search for familiar shapes and come up empty. No elephant-sized silhouette, no horse herd, no lion's roar, no wolf tracks. Those jobs still exist here. Different lineages just fill them. If mammals never inherit that same wide-open world, does the road that leads to us ever even start? Something primate-like isn't technically impossible, but the exact chain of accidents that leads to apes, then early humans, then you, is close enough to impossible that it might as well be. The strangest thing missing from this world isn't an animal, it's the creature that would have been looking for one. Back to where we started. The hunt is over. 3 tyrannosaurs feed while a younger one watches and copies every move. The low call sounds again, and this time you understand what it means. You cross a valley looking for rescue. No fences, no tire tracks, no cut trees, no smoke, no power lines cutting the horizon. Night comes, no aircraft overhead, no satellites crawling across the stars, no glow of a city anywhere, no radio crackling back no matter how long you try, no roads, no lights, no voices, no sign that anyone came before you. The silence from the very first scene finally makes sense now. This Earth isn't empty of life. It's empty of us. You've spent this whole story imagining yourself standing in it, but that's the one piece of this world that could never exist. The timeline that produces this Earth is exactly the one that could never produce the mind doing the picturing. 3 shadows, hunters working together on purpose. That vibration in your ribs, a call, not a threat. The changing wind, no smoke anywhere. The dark horizon, no civilization to light it. Those tracks in the mud, never a human footprint beside them. Here's the part that turns the horror into something closer to awe. Evolution was never building toward a winner. Tyrannosaurus surviving wouldn't have been a mistake. Humans showing up wasn't scheduled either. It was one outcome out of an almost uncountable number of them. Different survivors, at different moments, build entirely different futures. The asteroid missing saves one extraordinary lineage, and possibly erases ours before it starts. Hitting does the opposite. It wipes out an ancient world, but opens ecological room that, 66 million years later, leads to something that can sit here asking, what if? Was Chicxulub only a disaster, or also the accident that made curiosity possible in the first place? That low tyrannosaur pulse you felt earlier turns into something else now. At the start of this story, that vibration meant something was coming to kill you. By the end, it's proof you exist at all. Tyrannosaurus never reached our world. Its disappearance did. So which tyrannosaur descendant scares you most? The pack hunters, the forest ambushers, the frozen giants, or the island dwarfs? Tell me in the comments below, and be honest, would you trade humanity for that world? Like and subscribe, because next time, a completely different apex predator never goes extinct.